Good evening, everyone. This is my latest vodcast, and tonight I'm going to discuss two articles related to the persistence of URIs. One is a blog posting by a gentleman named Andy Powell, uh, titled More Famous Than Simon Cowell. And the other one is actually an article that he references in this blog posting, created by the W3C, which is the standard making body for the internet, or the World Wide Web, I should say. And that article is Cool URIs Do Not Change. Again, a URI is a Uniform Resource Identifier, and in this case, a cool URI is one that does not change over time, essentially a persistent URI. Now with Powell, he sort of muses over a blog posting of his from the previous day, specifically the URI for that posting. And he notices that there is a PHP file extension within the URI. And that gives some pause there, because URIs, or file extensions in URIs, could be a potential problem, because we don't know if PHP may be even used 20 years down the line. And there's all sorts of file extensions that now have been abandoned over time. So that's certainly something to consider. And the other thing he looks at is that perhaps the company that is renting this, because we're really all renting space on the internet, the company that's renting space on the internet for his blog, what happens if that goes out of business? That could be a potential problem. And he refers over to this W3C article, which is very detailed in terms of how to create a URI that will actually be persistent. And they even look at a few faulty ones from the NSF that included some scripting information, CGI specifically within the URI, which could create a problem. And they give some very specific guidelines on how what to include in a URI. In fact, really what not to include in a URI. Things like author's name, subject, status, access, file name, extension, software mechanisms, even disk name. These are things that you don't want to include in a URI. And this article really, that the W3C has come up with, really harkens to the careful consideration in creating a URI that's actually going to be persistent from 20, 200, they even talk about 2,000 years. And getting back to Powell, he thinks about, well, that blog posting of his, maybe that's not that critical that it has a persistent URI. But for scholarly research, that's something that is critical, because we, and as we expand in the information age, we put more things online. We're really entrusting our body of knowledge out there, and certainly want to have URIs that are not persistent, and that knowledge perhaps can no longer be accessed, and that would be, could be tragic. We don't want to have lose out on all this knowledge. So, at any rate, I'm going to stop for now. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you later. Good night.